Hello, my name is Darren Thomas and I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to deal with a system of equations and how to use the method of substitution to solve them. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So a system of equations is where you have two equations. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out where do they intersect when they're graphing. Now, you can graph them, that's one way, but a faster, more efficient way to do that, at least in my opinion, is to solve for a system of equations. And what's happened is that you are able to solve for two variables almost at the same time to figure out where they cross on the graph like I mentioned previously. So why don't we go through an example and I can kind of show you how this works out. So if you just take a look at our variable here, so let's say we got 4x plus 2y equals 14. This is our first equation. And then our second equation is 2x minus 4y equals 12. That's what we're looking at here. So you can see clearly that we have two equations. And we also have two variables at the same time, which makes sense because we're trying to figure out where they intersect. And so the x is the first dimension and the y is the second dimension. So this is not that unreasonable. Now, how we can often normally do this is we solve for y for one of the variables. For one of the equations, if you will. So what's going to happen is I'm going to solve this one first. This 4x plus 2y equals 14. I'm going to solve it for y. So I'm going to do that down here. And so now I have 4x plus 2y equals 14. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And so let me change the color here to help you out a little bit with the visual. And so now I have 2y equals 14 minus 4x. That's what I have. Now, in order to get the y by itself, I have to divide everything by 2. 2, 2, and 2. And this leaves me with my final solution, at least initially. I'm going to put that over here where I have some space. So I have y equals 7 minus 2x. This is what I have. So I know y equals 7 minus 2x. I still don't know what x is, but I have an idea of what y is now. And so you take this information right here and you plug it into the second equation. So I need to move to another screen here. So let me go back and take a look at this. Okay. Let's see here. So I got 2x minus 4. And then inside the parentheses, let me see here, I got 7 minus 2x. And all this equals 12. So I think what we do next. We have to distribute our values here. There's nothing unusual here. So the minus 4 and 7, this is going to become minus 28. And then we got the minus 4 and the minus 2x. This is going to become positive 8x. Still equals 12. And then in front of this we have the 2x. And I think you probably know what we're going to do next. We're going to combine like terms. So 2x plus 8x is going to be 10x. And then we have still minus 28. And then we have equals 12. And again, this is just a basic equation problem. Now, I'm very positive you could probably do this now. We add 28 to both sides. And we end up with 10x equals 40. And then we divide both sides by 10. And we end up with our final answer, which is going to be right here. X equals 4. This is our answer. Excuse me. This is our answer right here. So you can see we're making good progress. So we know that x equals 4. Now we take this value 4 and we plug it into one of the original equations to figure out what y is. Because remember, when we first solved for y, we got an equation. We didn't actually get a number. So go back here. I'm going to take this guy again. So let me see here. 4x plus 2y equals 14. 4x plus 2y equals 14. Now we know what x is 4. So go ahead and change the color again for you. So we got 4 times 4 plus 2y equals 14. And you know, I think again this is not that deep for you. So this is going to be 16 plus 2y equals 14. Now we subtract 16 from both sides. Again, we're just doing basic equation stuff now. Minus 16 minus 16. And so we end up with 2y equals negative 2. And then we divide both sides by 2. And we end up with our final answer is going to be y. Whoops, excuse me. Whoops, I want that back. Y equals negative 1. So if we were to graph this, again, let me show you right here. We have our x over 4 here. So we know x equals 4. If we were to graph this, this is where these two lines would intersect. And so again, this is kind of like on the theoretical rearranging numbers, but there are many practical applications of solving a system of equations when you have two different things that are kind of intersecting with each other. And we're going to cover that more in a later video. But in this particular video, we looked at how to solve a system of equations using the method of substitution. This is not the only method, and we will cover other methods in future videos. So I hope that this was useful for you as you try to figure out how to do it. But just to keep in mind that when you do this, first you solve for one variable, and then after you solve for that one, so in this video we solve for y, you plug in the results of that into the second equation, if you will. So you don't solve for into the second equation, you put that value, and then once you run everything there, you will have the answer to the first variable. You'll get a constant, some sort of a number. You take that constant and you plug it into one of the original equations to find out what the constant for the second variable is. So that's kind of how we did it here. So my name is Derek Thomas. I am the Director of Educational Research Techniques. I want to thank you for watching. Take care.